Jai Atmeshwar, Samarpan Yog of the Himalayas Part 1, Episode 32. Gurudev continued speaking. Every name has an aura with it. No aura is good or bad, but the effect of every aura is different, and no effect should be extreme. The effect should also be balanced. This balance can only be created by someone who is acquainted with its influence. Children often have to keep fighting all their lives against this imbalance. They are troubled all their lives and also have shorter lives. One should not give a name to a child without understanding its effect on the child. The name determines the success or failure in the child's life. The child's name should therefore be according to his suitability and necessity. People often name their children after great saints, but it does not necessarily mean that the particular name is necessary for the child. The child's requirement may be quite different. When the Sadguru gives a name, then it is according to the child's requirement. Through the medium of that given name, he transfers his energies to the child. The Sadguru has the energy of a vast collectivity. It often happens that the entire life of an unsuccessful individual has been changed just by changing his name. There is a great power in a name. A mixed aura is created through the words of a name. For example, the word Rama has the aura of the letters Ra and Ma, and the word Rampal has the aura of the four letters Ra, Ma, Pa, La. Actually, letters are the Bij mantras of energy, that is, the seed mantras of energy, and each of them has a different influence. It is necessary to find out which influence is required for your child. The child becomes successful in his life just by connecting with the proper influence that is suitable for that child's life. I am explaining all this to you because I can foresee your future. Thousands of people are going to come to you to name their children, and the Guru energy is going to give them names through your medium. Thus, you should be aware of the importance of the work that is going to happen through you as a medium, and therefore, I am giving you all this information. I prayed to Gurudev. I present myself before you as your medium. You may make whatever use you wish of my body. Today, I'm surrendering my complete existence at your feet. It is my pure wish that every breath that I now take in my life may be according to your wishes. After saying this, I bowed before him with folded hands. Then he raised me and putting his hand on my shoulder, he said, "Only you are my future. Now I will remain alive only through your medium. You are not aware of how big your container is. Millions of souls are going to obtain liberation through you in this world. You are the doorway to obtaining liberation in collectivity. You are not aware of who you are, and I am blessed to have you as my disciple. My whole life has become worthwhile because I have found you. Now I have no other desire left in my life. The purpose of my life has been served. Now I will spend the rest of my life in your proximity. I could not help anyone to reach liberation in my lifetime, but I have no regrets about it. I am very fortunate to have become the Guru of the giver of liberation to millions of souls. Today, my heart is overpowered by love. Today, I feel completely satisfied in my life. Now I understand why my Guru made me stay here for so many years. It was because you were going to come here, because I was going to get the opportunity to take part in your yajna, the ceremony of sacred offering of giving liberation. My Guru was aware of everything, but I did not know about it. A great yajna is going to be organized through your medium, and I am fortunate that I have been given a golden opportunity to make an offering in that great yajna by having you as my disciple. I was sitting open-mouthed and listening to what Gurudev was saying. Medium, great yajna, giving liberation. I could not understand the meaning of all these words. On seeing my condition, Gurudev said, I can see all this in the future. All this is going to happen in the future. You will understand all these things only after some time. Come on, we have spent quite a lot of time here. Now we will go back to our hut. And we got up and started walking back. I turned back to look at that great stone slab, and it appeared to be a throne. It was the highest peak of nature in that place. It seemed as if the king was sitting on his throne and was surveying his kingdom. Sitting there on that high peak, one could see the river flowing below, and the surrounding scenery stretched far away for miles. There was a thick forest around there that no open space could be seen, and there seemed to be a blanket of trees spread around everywhere. Gurudev started climbing down the hill with me. We had to climb halfway down the hill and then turn towards the hill on the opposite side and climb up. Night was falling by the time we reached our hut. Later, I said to Gurudev, Gurudev, we managed to come downhill very fast, but climbing up was very difficult. Gurudev smiled and said, My dear, it is always very difficult to climb the hill of one's life as one progresses towards one's summit and evolution. There are fewer opportunities in life for climbing up and more occasions for falling. People are not concerned in life about how far one has climbed upwards. They pay more attention to how far one has fallen. This negative attitude is always present in the human society. We should keep away from it. Then we entered our hut. I was so tired that I fell asleep at once. I woke up next morning on hearing the chirping of birds. Today, I was feeling very fresh and happy. The previous day's tiredness had disappeared. I observed that the nails on my fingers and toes had grown very long, and realized after seeing them that I must have stayed for a number of days with Gurudev on that great platform-like stone on the opposite hill. I had stayed with Gurudev for several days, but I was not aware for how long. As I was in a good meditative state, I was neither aware of the time nor the number of days. The same thing happens in life too, and the good period in one's life passes very quickly. I had planted some seeds, lahi leaves, which could be used for our meals, and they had grown into big trees. I used to boil and eat these leaves. They were similar to spinach leaves, but they were 4 times bigger. These leaves were my main diet. I had made small beds in which I had planted the seeds, and I used to pick the bigger leaves very gently from the plant. I liked these leaves, and I used to feed the birds with the stems of the leaves. The birds enjoyed eating the stems, and they became my friends. There was a black bird which had laid eggs in front of me. That bird came with both her chicks to eat the stems, but now the chicks had grown up. However, they had not learned to peck grains on their own as yet, and therefore the bird used to peck on the stems with her beak and feed her young ones. I had spent a large number of days on the opposite hill. I realized it by looking at the birds which had grown up after hatching and the size of the trees which produced lahi leaves, which had grown from the seeds I had planted. Even now, I did not know how many days I spent there. My Gurudev was very old and quite weak. He had reduced his needs considerably. One day, he said, "As man grows older, he should reduce his needs because, in reality, his needs automatically decrease. Man should give up all attachments systematically, otherwise, he'll have to face problems in his old age. He should reduce his needs with age because excessive needs make his mind unstable. Man should not be afraid of death, as death is a certainty, and man should not forget it. Death is an event which will definitely take place, and one should keep in mind that death will surely occur. The thought of death always inspires man to do good deeds and stops him from performing bad deeds. Death saves man from greed and desires and makes him realize that everything will be left behind here. Death is a boon which has been given to every creature. Death keeps reminding man that this life is momentary. Man considers himself to be very great, and he is always worried about what will happen after he passes away. What will happen to my wife? What will happen to my children? What will happen to my work? Whereas all this is a play of illusion and attachments. Man's state in this world is like that of an insect. What difference does it make whether it lives or dies? It makes no difference. People around him are unhappy for a few days and then carry on with their lives because one cannot die with the person who dies. One who is alive has to keep on living, and in order to keep on living, one has to remain in the present. One cannot live one's life in the past, and the person who dies becomes the past. How long can one keep on remembering him? That is why every human being should understand his status in the world and stop worrying about what will happen after his death. It is this worry that does not allow man to die in peace. He never realizes while he is living that this life is an illusion. He realizes after his death that nothing changes even after he dies. The sun rises every morning as usual, and the whole world keeps moving. Sunset takes place, and the whole world moves on in a very systematic manner. He realizes that he was unnecessarily holding on to the world in his life. We realize after death that no matter how great a person is, no matter how important he is, no one is indispensable. There is a certain speed of movement in this world, and all living beings have to flow with the speed of that stream. It is generally believed that man does not tell lies at the time of his death, and this is quite true. Therefore, the person who is about to die should be made aware that he is going to die now, and he should speak the truth. It is the basic nature of man to speak the truth, and man himself never realizes that his death is approaching. Right up to the end, he never realizes that death is approaching, and someone else has to make him aware of it to acknowledge that he is dying, as this is beyond his thought process. This is because no man can think that he can ever die. Man is afraid of death but does not accept it. Death is the reality of life, and this is a natural event. No one knows who is going to die at what time. This is a subject which man should leave to Paramatma. He will die when he has to. Death itself is not so frightening or painful as much as the fear of death. Man does not even realize when death occurs. Today, I understood that Gurudev had passed on the mystery of death to me when he was sitting in a meditative state. I had experienced several times that he stayed seated in meditation, and through his aura, he would reveal the knowledge of different mysteries of life to me. That is why, whether I was near him or not in the jungle, I never felt that I was alone there. Jai Atmeshwar. We'll conclude today's book reading over here. Thank you for listening.